over. You read the paper every day. School boards are having to get rid of many teachers. Municipalities are getting rid of workers. Are you going to be impacted like that, or are you going to try to hold the line?
Myself there, I know revenue is tough, times are tough, but I don't believe, and I would do everything I can to stop anybody from being laid off or losing their job.
Sure, especially in a time
because
like this.
you're not going to help anybody by doing it, and we just have to tighten our belt. And like I say, we're very fortunate because all of our workers, they work for the community, and so
right.
It's not like we got a bunch of people that don't care, and probably over 60-70% of them live in our village.
Wow. Of the workforce.
And the other ones that don't live there, their family lives there.
Sure.
So
So they have roots to the community.
They have roots. So, and like I say, at these times, myself there, I would never go along with laying anybody off.
Well, you ran, I believe, when you were, what was it, mayor for 6 years in a row. You had 0% tax increases. 6 years, I believe.
From 94 to when I got elected, till 94 to for 7 straight years on a zero budget, zero tax increase.
7 years.
And everything worked. Of course, there was critics, but you can remember I had a zero tax increase, but I didn't have the majority of the board. The majority of the board at that time were Democrats.
Right.
So if they were against the budget, they could have voted against it, but they all went along with it.
But they supported because
they supported. But I mean, I didn't have the majority. It just wasn't there. But they did what was in the best interest of the village.
Sure. All right. So what's the good word you can tell village residents? What are you looking forward to coming up in the next year? Let's say hold the line on taxes as best as possible.
What we do there, we signed an agreement. It was signed with a dewatering treatment plant. Mm-hmm. The former board, who I'd say did negotiate it, they told they expressed that at a board meetings and at other events that we would be getting revenue in excess of $100,000. Now I'm hoping that works out that way.
That works out.
We're looking for other avenues, like everybody else is, to bring money into the village. But right now, the way the things are going, you just got to hope and look around and
sure. If you can't increase the revenue stream, then you just got to tighten your belt and just cut back on expenses.
You got to do what you can do.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't want to cut services. We're not going to cut services.
Right.
We have great services. Anybody, besides the police department, we have an ambulance corps there that's always available day and night. We have a fire department that's there all the night.
Sure. Buchanan joined the ALS. Are you still part of ALS as far as in
yes.
the town of Cortland? And I believe it's town of Cortland, Peekskill, and Buchanan.
Yeah, and we work very well with Peekskill and the town of Cortland. So everybody's working for the people that live in the community. It's a very tight-knit community. And we got like Montrose, Verplanks, Buchanan. They call it the Tri-Village.
Right.
And everybody's working to do the best they can. And like I said, I don't have to tell people times are hard.
Sure.
Times are hard.
Sure,
just hope they get better.
Yeah, that's right. And it may be a little while. This one is going to last a little longer than I think the past recessions.
Well, if you listen to the news media, it doesn't look good, but who knows?
We'll do the best we can. All righty. Okay, so enough of the village of Buchanan. Anything else? Before we go on to the veterans issues?
No, I'm just glad to be here with my commander, John Nichols.
Okay. All right. Now let's reintroduce Mr. Nichols, commander of the Peekskill American Legion, Post 274. I've had the pleasure of knowing John for the past, especially the last 5 years, almost on a day-to-day basis. We grew up also in the city. As I grew up in the city of Peekskill, I went to school with many of John's children. So give us the bio, John. Let's start out with family, wife. Where'd you work? Where'd you come from? Where were you born? Let's get the lowdown. Let's get the dirt on you.
Well, we'll start with me. I was born and raised upstate in Utica, New York.
Okay.
I went to educated in Catholic schools there, grammar school and high school. Went to the United States Navy during the Korean conflict. Met my wife just prior to getting out of the Navy. And a lot of people don't know this, but I wanted to stay in the Navy, make it a career. But she didn't want me to stay in the Navy. So if I said, well, I might gain the Navy, but I'm going to lose something really I thought was really great. And that greatness turned out to be 53 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
All right?
Congratulations.
And then now we have the 5 daughters, 8 grandchildren,
Uh-huh.
and a little.
You're catching up to Al, it sounds like.
I'm not in a hurry. Well, I'm not. I mean, I don't know what their plans are. And I have a little great grandson, Matthew.
Oh, so did we break that as far as Al? Or do you have a
No.
No. Oh, so he
Not yet.
he beat you there then.
So I thank God for everything I have. I'm a very blessed person.
So what year did you move into the Peekskill area then?
I
if you
came
can-
down here in 1956 from upstate after I got out of the service. Because like you say, with the economy as bad as it is now, it was bad then too.
Sure.
Veterans had hard times getting jobs. Everybody was coming out of the armed forces. There was no work. Municipalities already had their billets filled.
And you saw you can make a better life in the Westchester County, Lower New York State region.
Well, I came down here, well, my wife wasn't too happy up there. Her family, she was born and raised in Peekskill. She's a Peekskillite. And so I came down here, and from there, I worked for the government as an inspector up in Beacon. And that wasn't a long job because the government contracts had run out. The war was over with, there was nothing, they didn't need the government materials no more.
Right.
So prior to that, I put an ad in, application to all these other outfits, and I think it was in the spring, I put an application for Con Ed. They called me in October. And then I had a career there for 40 years and 23 days.
Wow. So you became a lifer for Con Edison.
Yes. And I said, I have no regrets going to work for them. Tough outfit, but like I say, you give what you get.
Good.
And then as far as...
Now, let's go to the post now. Let's talk about veterans issues. What exactly, when people hear you're the commander of the Peekskill American Legion, what does that mean?
Well, let me just say one thing prior to that, Dominic. I was a volunteer fireman for 26, 27 years, right, in the city of Peekskill. And I held a card with the American Legion up in Albany, Post 1, that's the district, Albany district. And then one day I just opened the mail and I got a questionnaire from the Peekskill post with what I'd like to transfer to be a member down in Peekskill, which I did. And I knew Al, just knowing Al through affairs with the veterans and stuff like that, and with the volunteer fire department. And one thing led to another, I went down there. And a great bunch of fellas down there, great bunch of vets. And things gelled and things worked out, and I've been there now, what, Al, 8 years? 8 years, 9 years? I've been commander now for the last 5 years. And not because I want to be commander, not nobody wants it, it's just the point is on paper, we have 70 members, right? But out of those 70 members, we actually have 12 that are the workers, that are the nucleus, the cement of the organization.
Sure.
They work when we want them. I pick up a phone, I need something. And what we're doing now is, what I'm trying to do now is try to get some of the veterans that live in the area that originally belonged to posts all over the county, and they no longer go to those meetings, not that they want, but because they're getting older, they don't want to do the traveling at night. So in the last couple of years, we've been fortunate, and we've accepted 2 transfers. And the last one we had, he's been a gem for us. He's a little bit younger, but he's a worker, and that's what we need, because we're all getting older, and we're dying off, God forbid, but that's happening in all the organizations throughout the country. All you got to do is look at the obit paper every day, and you don't want to say that, but last week, I think one day I opened up the Peekskill, the Westchester paper, and it was 5 flags. Some days you see 3 flags. And these are veterans that we're losing, we can't replace them. And the majority of the fellows that are coming out of Nam, Vietnam, and coming back from Iraq, and the way they got treated in Nam, well, now they have their own organization, VVA, Vietnam Veterans of America. Right. And they're a pretty good group. They stick together, they do what they want to do, they mingle with one another, they're good. We can't get those guys in our group. Sure. The veterans of foreign wars, we don't have them no more, Peekskill. They're gone. They're all passed away.
Well, I was just going to say, when you look at it, going from World War II, let's say, to Korea, there's only so many people that were part of that war, and now what's happening, as you just said, as every year passes, another group, another rung of them, they lose, they're dying off. Right. And so that means your group, in a sense, dwindles in time.
Right.
Now, here's the question. Are you going to be able to, especially between the Iraq War, Desert Storm, and all the other wars that have including the one